Hey y'all, good morning. Welcome to Sweet Pea Southern Home. Today we are going to do early June garden tour of the big garden and just a little bit in the little orchard because there's not much going on over there right now. But you will have seen a little bit of footage before this that I have gotten a white zucchini and a regular Black Beauty zucchini, which I didn't get either of last year, so I'm super happy about that. I re-sowed some pole beans that some of them I accidentally got a little heavy-handed with weeding. And the other pole beans that I put where tomatoes were that kicked the bucket. So I've gotten a few banana peppers and blueberries today and some chamomile flowers from out front. So had a little harvest today. Not complaining one bit, but I don't want this video to drag on too long, so I'm gonna get started. Because also, let me show you something. See my pile of mulch? I think that's a sunflower growing over there. I'm trying to not mow over it. My pile of mulch is hard to tell right now, but it's getting littler. I'm so excited. I won't be doing that again, I don't think. I mean, I don't know. It wasn't terrible, but I don't think it's necessary. I've just been using it in the walkways, and there was a snake in it last time when it was kind of big. It's full of ants that I've had to try to get rid of, and there was a snake in it. So I think there'll be no more big piles of mulch for me. But enough waffling. All right, just real briefly in the front here, my roses are doing good. Look. That's my Seven Sisters. It's really getting tall and leggy, but not bushing out. So I'm not really sure what I want to do about that. If I just want to leave it alone, or at the end of the summer, prune it back a little bit. And then here's my Peggy Martin. And it was already super bushy when I bought it. So that looks really good. So let's go in here. And like I said, I'll try to make this as brief as possible. Oh, before I go all the way in the garden, that is my mullein that I wasn't sure what it was. And I still have some more coming up in here, which I'm going to transplant out into where the trees are later on this year. And then that's my bay laurel. This is my chickapin chestnut. And I mean, I was told I needed 2 of them, but we're just going to give it the rest of the year and see what happens with that. And then my 2 little cherry tomatoes. They're getting tall, but I've only gotten two cherry tomatoes off of them. I'm not going to complain though, because if you watch my last video, you know what's going on with those. And I posted online in a Facebook group too, and they weren't, nobody really knew either. They just asked me questions about what I was doing. Okay, so right here I have, this is where I got the white zucchini from. So I'm not, honestly, I didn't mark everything. I know what is regular, like bush zucchini, and what was vining, winter squash. So I have another one there, and then a smaller one down there. And they've been slow to get going, but that's okay. In between them, I planted some ancho peppers, and let me see if I can get down here. Look, that's the pepper, that's a weed. So I don't know, they're not doing anything. And I know it looks really dry right now, but I have been watering. I'll water again here after I finish this video. So I'm trying to decide how I'm going to do this. Well, this row, I'll just walk all the way down this row. We'll come up each row one at a time. So this row was a row that I planted all herbs on, but I have 2 tiny sunflowers trying to make it on this row. And I literally emptied out herb packets, and then we got a big rain. So this is a ground cherry that volunteered itself. And I'm just kind of letting the weeds grow a little bit till I figure out if any of this is herbs, unless I know for sure, like this is for sure a weed. More ground cherries. I do have basil coming up down here, but like I planted a ton of oregano, 2 or 3 kinds of basil. I know I planted marjoram, like an entire pack, and none of it, I don't see any of it. So I don't know. This is purple globe basil, and then I have some more right down there. And down here at this other end, I have my banana peppers, which I didn't grow. I bought those, and these are the Black Beauty zucchinis, the 3 of these. In between those, I have more banana peppers. I have 4 banana pepper plants and 3. I think I'm gonna get another one. Yay! This is my cucuzza, and you can see I'm already getting some. They tend to take off a little slow, but once they get going, man, you better be ready. And I try to come out here in the evenings or early in the morning and hand pollinate when I can, just to get them going. But I've seen a good many pollinators out here so far this year. But anyway, I think that's maybe 3 or 4 plants, and that will be plenty. And let me move around. This is a bell pepper that I got from a local nursery too. Sorry about the camera. And yet more ground cherries. If you ever want to have ground cherries forever, or marigolds forever, go ahead and plant those in your garden, because you're gonna have them. But I don't care, it's fine. This is another sweet pepper, and if you see this stuff on the leaves, I sprayed yesterday with fungicide, just because we're getting into that super humid time of the year, and I'm trying to keep it from getting out of hand so early. So there's another pretty little sunflower, and that one. And I think this one I'm going to get a mammoth sunflower out of, which I'm really glad, because I didn't get any last year. So all of this, you can see another cucuzza down there. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull these. I didn't pull them the other day after I did that video, but I need to now. I mean, look at the root. Oh, gosh. Drop it, Christy. Look at the root on that thing, how long it was. I just don't get it. I don't know what's going on with it. And now, this plant right here. I literally just filmed this a few days ago, and look at it. I just don't know. Somebody suggested that I water. So, I mean, I guess I can. I've got to go get something to tie these up. You can see that one's falling over, but they have fruit on them. And then it's kind of hard. They're just now starting to take off, but let me see if you can, not this, that's, you see the small plants right here? If I would get my finger in, those are Hale's cantaloupe, and then there's some more on this side of this bed. And I just planted some bell pepper seeds from Haas that you direct sow right here, because I planted some vining, it's supposed to be vining yellow squash here. I planted it 2 times and nothing came up, so I didn't want to do that again. Let's walk back down this row. Let me throw this tomato out before I forget it. All right, in this row, I just came along and planted some yellow squash and just squashes. I tried to give them plenty of room just in case they decided to grow, and it looks like they are. And here we go. Here's my problem. My other problem. Like, I didn't have enough problems. Tomato problem. I don't know. I found somebody to buy tomatoes from. So they sell canning tomatoes, so I'll probably just buy some of those, but I will try fall tomatoes. So all down here, bush beans, all down there, bush beans. These are all hybrid beans. I got them from a couple of different places. More bush beans on the other row. And something came along and chopped off and killed all of them. So I came out here and I put some slug bait down, which I've never used out here, but I blamed it on rabbits. And honestly, I don't see any tracks. I don't see any evidence. I don't see any rabbit poop. I don't see anything. So then Denny was like, maybe it's birds. And I was like, I don't think so. Not on everything. I thought maybe it's cutworms. I have sprayed for them. And I have put slug bait down. And I just can't tell. I mean, it looks like some of them are trying to come back, but then others are really pitiful. I have plenty of beans though, and the good thing is they grow quickly, so I can replant those. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna wait a couple of weeks and see what happens. I'm gonna try the beer bait today, a beer in a little lid and see what I get, what kind of bugs I get, because honestly I don't know. I come out here in the mornings and I've never found a worm, and I've never had this issue before. I have had rabbits eat some stuff, but they don't clean it out like this. And there's no deer tracks in here, no raccoon tracks. I don't think there's a possum. I really don't know. So these are the bush beans that I did not chop down by accident. I know that these are Christmas, not bush, pole. These are Christmas limas. And there's a few trying to make it underneath. What happened was I was trying to weed around all of these marigolds, and I just couldn't see. So I replanted on the other side of the fence. That's what you just saw me doing. Oh my gosh, it's 10 minutes already and I'm still jabbing away. That tomato right there, I'm just leaving it. There's nothing else around it. If I do plant fall tomatoes, I'm going to take the top 2 or 3 inches of soil away anyway. I'm just going to water it, treat it like normal, and see if it doesn't try to come back. In fact, that's probably what I'll do to the rest of the ones I have. So I have that one still standing, and then another big sunflower, and then I have 3 right here that are barely hanging on, and I'm just going to leave them and see what happens. On this side, I have been using liquid fertilizer, and finally I'm starting to see some progress. These are my hot peppers. Sorry, distraction. These are hot peppers. I gave them plenty of space, and they're finally starting to get bigger. So this whole row will be, some of them are giant jalapenos, serranos, Tabasco. I think that's probably all I planted in the way of hot peppers. So that's all my hot peppers. And then there's a few sunflowers. Right here, these are some peppers that I bought that I probably need to be checking, because look, I think those are ready. I have written down what they are, and oh no, I know what they are. I'm sorry. These are sweet cherries, and they're going to turn red if they're not mislabeled. So sweet cherry peppers. I wanted to try to pickle some, so I'm going to leave those alone. That's what these 3 plants are. And then I believe that's a cabbage. That's what was growing there before. I don't know what it's doing, but I'm going to just let it go. We'll see what happens. And then you can see my basil. We're going to have lots of basil tea this year, and I'm excited about that. But there's the tomatoes. And then at this other end, this is the butternut squash. I believe that's not, I don't think that is butternut squash, but I don't remember what it is. Anyway, on this side, I know for sure I have some growing on the back side. I'll show you. These were Trombacina and Long Denise, both from Baker Street. And I'll show you that I didn't hand pollinate these. These just did on their own. So I have this one that's, I think, the Long Denise. More basil, because I had tomatoes here. And here's this little tomato that was a 1/2 inch tall. Looked sad for a long time. Now it's trying to grow. And then there's a Trombacino. I'll be treating these as winter squash, and probably the cucuzza as summer squash or fresh eating. And on the back side of the garden, we have some stuff going on too. These, let me step back so you can see. I'm super proud of how Denny made these things for me, and they're really looking cool. I overplanted per usual, but I'm getting, you can see all the little flowers. Hopefully get tons of cucumbers. So I planted Dasher 2s, Market More, and one other one that I'll have to look up. When I start picking them, I'll look up so I can tell you which are which. And there's not a whole lot to see on this side of the garden. I had planted in a couple places a whole head of zinnias, seeds from last year, and some of them are coming up. There's some more right here. More sunflowers. I have accumulated so many sunflower seeds. I need to use some up. And I just literally, right here, this is going to be a whole row, a whole little section, this whole section right here of sunflowers. And then I planted some more pole beans right there. So there's nothing coming up on this row. It was peanuts, and I don't know if it's too late for me to go get some fresh peanuts and plant. Haven't decided what to do. But these 2 rows are okra. I only planted 2 kinds of okra. I planted Louisiana Longhorn and Emerald. So the Louisiana Longhorn were new for me this year. The Emerald I planted last year. And then before I do these are corn. So I came out here a few days ago. I planted an entire row, a whole package of dragon tongue beans, because I had them and I just didn't want this row to go to waste. And I was out here a couple of days ago and they were all looking good. I don't know. There's one trying to come back up. But this whole row was full of them. And now this, I mean, I am holding water on this row a little bit, but why were they all growing a couple of days ago and now they're almost all completely gone? I just don't know. I definitely have a mole back here, but I've just never had this issue before. So are they what's eating everything? I don't know. But this entire row, I mean, look, you can see down here how tall they were. They were really trying to scoot on up there. So later on today, I'm gonna try the beer thing for these beans too, and maybe a few of them will come back up. I don't have any more to replant, so I'm done replanting, really. I'm over it this year. This is Malabar spinach growing here, and it was a little slow going, but it's going now. These these are more of my cantaloupes, and then I'll talk about those beans over there in a minute. But if y'all know what could possibly be eating all this stuff, let me know. I bought 75 more words are hard. I bought 75, 3 packs. No, not three packs of 75. That's it. Of corn, seed corn, and planted all of these 2 long rows with it. There's barely any of it left anymore. And I planted this little baby row and these 2 rows with it. Now you can see definitely more on these 2 rows. And even though there's algae growing on top of the dirt, it's not soggy back here. It drains. It does definitely hold on to moisture a little bit more. And this tree above me has grown a lot in the last year. I definitely have more shade back here than I used to have, so I may be having to look for more shady things that can take shade a little bit more. And then these 2 rows are my sweet peppers, and I thought that maybe I did a little poorly last year with those because they got a lot of sun, so I planted them back here this year where they would get a little shade. I mean, originally I hoped the corn would shade them a little bit. I have 3. 1, 2, 3. Denny said that corn's not going to do anything. I said, I don't care. It deserves to live. It's a trooper. All right here. Literally was out here yesterday. These are a whole entire package of cannellini beans, and they were all growing, and something has eaten the tops off of them. This one here was actually had tendrils on it. This one was looking like a bush. Now it's gone. I had planted some over there, and right here I had a bunch of seeds extra. So in the middle of these 2 poles, I planted the whole thing because they're not really, I would say they're semi. They climb a little bit. But whatever's eating the beans is leaving the other stuff alone. Hasn't touched my okra. It's eating beans and corn. So I do not know. But anyway, that's the main garden. And I'll just zoom you in instead of walking all the way over there. You saw me pick some blueberries right there. What am I looking at? One of my raspberries is still growing. The other one I don't think is making it. And then I have 2 peaches on the peach tree right there. And that's about all. When later on this evening, I have all of those were potatoes, so I'm going to go dig those up this evening because in a couple of weeks I'm going to be putting watermelon and a few winter squash in there. Try not to swing around so much. And so I see a lot of weeds popping up, but honestly, I can't. It looks like I scattered some kind of seeds right here. I don't know what those are going to be. I don't know. These are my 2 salvias. This one, she's blooming. I'm just trying to make all of this some perennials. That's a blue salvia. This is a kaleidoscope butterfly bush. And then that is a lilac that is supposed to grow into zone 10, and it's doing really well. So I put it back here so to get some shade in the hottest part of the day. And then this is my volunteer pumpkin that's growing all behind here, and I haven't touched it. And the only time I touched it was I cut it right here, but I knew that it was rooted in. I don't want it to get in those grow bags right there, and I'll show you what's over there in just a minute. So this pumpkin is it's pumpkining. There's a small one, and I'm not going back there because I don't have my tall boots on, but we've had a super bad snaky year this year. Trying to see if you can kind of see. That one's getting pretty big. The glare from the sun is so bad I can't see what I'm looking at. Let me back up a little bit. There you go. That one's getting pretty big. And I couldn't tell you. It's growing on back into the swamp back there. It's possible that I have some more back there, but I won't know for a while. And then it continues on over here. My celery, who knew? I'm going to leave it unless it starts to look like it's going to bolt, and I'll see what it does. And then look how big my dill is. I guess I need to come cut those heads and let them dry out. I don't know. I was hopeful to get some dill flowers and cucumbers at the same time, but I don't think it's going to end up like that. And my echinacea, it came back this year. And then in all these grow bags are sweet potatoes. They're kind of slow to get going, but I do come out here and water them. I know they look dry right now, but they're about to get watered here. And then I have another pretty good sized pumpkin right here. Like I said, I'm not doing anything with them. I think that's really it, y'all. There's another, let me walk back over here. I know, you can kind of see it from here. See that little white right there? That's another pumpkin that's really close to my compost pile. And then way over there where my compost pile is, there's a different kind of pumpkin growing over there. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I mean, if it was raccoons or something, you would think they'd be fooling with my pumpkins and not just coming in here and eating beans and corn. I don't know. The corn is done for this year. If it doesn't make it, I'm not going to fool with it. But the bush beans, I'm going to put a row cover on them if I have to replant. And I have one more package of cannellini beans. I probably will replant that. Again, I'm going to use some kind of row cover over there and see if I can't figure out what's going on. All right, y'all. Well, I'm going to end this video here. I'm going to go get some seeds started, and later today I'll record pulling potatoes, and then y'all can see that. Hopefully I get some. I love that because it's just a mystery and it's fun to see what you get. So I hope y'all all have a blessed day. I hope I didn't ramble too long for you and that you enjoyed this big garden tour. And I will see y'all next time. Bye. you.